Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ooh, I can hear myself and I'm not sure I mean to. It is Tuesday? Tuesday the 30th of March, and it's midday, which means I guess it's time for a stream. Hello. Bear with me a second while I sort out this mic situation. There we go. There we go. That's better. Sorry, I'd set my mic to both monitor and listen to and do all its mic stuff. And I could hear it, and it meant that I had this echo going on. And the thing about echoes is that when you're streaming and you can hear yourself, it's really distracting. And I don't know if you guys have ever done this thing. This was like a viral thing back in 2012, 2013, I think. Regardless, it was an app that you would get on your phone, and you'd get someone to talk into your phone while the earphones were plugged into their ears, and it would record what they were saying, and it would play it back a second or so later, and it just turned people into gibbering idiots. And that's what happens with me if I can hear my own voice. So when it's weird, like if I turn my monitoring on, you can hear my voice, and it'll be sort of, I'll be slower, I'll be waiting a lot more in places to wait for my echo to finish. And you guys can't notice the fact that my echo is there, you guys can't hear it, but you can hear the way it affects me. So that's fun. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting show today. I'm just going to move my camera more central so I can look right at your faces. Hello, how are you doing? It's going to be a very interesting show today. I have got 3 parts planned for this show. For the first hour, there's something which I've talked about before that I would like to go over a bit more. That we're going to talk about. Second part of the show, we're going to be finishing off mixing and mastering that track. And the third part of the show, we're going to be planning a record. We're going to be planning a record. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello, welcome to the first part of the show. That second part of the show, you're not going to see. I'm sorry, guys. You're not, unless you're watching live today, you won't be able to find that second part of the show. The reason why is because I have to use a reference track in order to master the track that I'm doing, and in order to make sure that I don't get a copyright strike on YouTube or a DMCA takedown on Twitch, as soon as the stream is over, I'm deleting the VOD for this video. Really sorry, guys. So yeah, this is going to be a bit weird. Rather than having one stream with a few breaks, we're going to be treating it as 3 different streams, and therefore 3 different videos. So first off, I wanted to talk about something which I've mentioned before, and I've sort of talked about various points of it, but it's always existed in my head, and I haven't ever properly written it down, and that is my laws of music making. Now, I know this already. This already sounds like the most pompous thing in the world to say, hello, I'm a streamer with literally 30 followers and 10 followers on YouTube, and 2 people watch my videos a day, and I have laws of music. I don't want it to come across as that. My laws of music is literally the rules that I follow to make my music. Okay? And the reason I want to go over them is because I mention them quite a lot, because they are really important to my music making process. And if you're interested in them, then this is a cool thing to go over. If you're not interested in them, then whatever, I don't care. This is my show and I can do what I want. So, first off, I'm going to tell you what am I going to do? I'm just going to set up a capture so that you can so that you can see them as well, but I won't it won't take away from what I'm saying. So let me just quickly do that. Yeah. Oh God, what's happened? You guys will see some awful stuff right now. And the window is... There we go. That's what we wanted. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Okay. And you can see the bottom, and I can see what you can see. Okay. So let me just move that to a nice place. There we go. We'll put that there. Okay. So my laws of Lawrence's laws of musical creativity, or music making, or whatever. So the reason why I'm going to hide these for a second, just because I don't want to. Oh, wrong one. This one. So the reason I work to rules is because actually we all do. We might not speak out loud or talk about them out loud, but in our own heads, we have these laws and these rules that we do follow, whether or not you believe it. You might think that you're just a person that just picks up a guitar, plays, and records a song, and that is it. That's not true, because when you listen to that song, you will like it or not like it. And it doesn't matter whether your piece, whether the thing that you've recorded is objectively good or not, you will either like it or not like it. And the reason why you like or don't like something is because of the sort of the boundaries that you put in your head. You might not know it, but you don't like it for a reason. And when you do like a track that you've made, it's because of a reason as well. And that is what the sort of rules in your head are. So I'm just going to take a sip of the tea. So, when you've watched my streams or watched my YouTube videos or have interacted with me as a creator, you will see me talk about, or you will hear me talk about my rules. And I just wanted to go over what they were and why they're there. Okay? So, let's take a look at rule number 1. Rule number 1 is do not swear or cuss unless quoting someone else. And in brackets, this discourages lazy lyric writing. So, what that means is, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't swear in my songs or cuss in my songs. Now, I swear in real life all the time. So this is not me being against swearing, because I understand that sometimes swearing is necessary. Okay? But when I'm writing music and I am passionate about something, it is easy for me to swear. It is easy for us to swear. That's why we do it in our lives so much. It's so easy. So the reason why I don't swear is to discourage me being lazy about my lyric writing. Let me give you an analogy. Let's say you move to a new city. Okay? You move to a new city and you have to get to work. You've got a job in this new city, you're going to get to work. What do? Well, you get into the car, you put the address in your GPS, in your sat-nav, or in your phone, and it'll take you to where you need to go. And the likelihood is that the route that it chooses will be optimized based on a few different factors. It'll be the quickest route. It'll be the most straight line of a route. And the likelihood is that once you put that route into your GPS, that is the route you're going to take. That is the route that you're going to take every day to get to work. Until there's a road closure. When there's a road closure, you can't go the route that you wanted to go down. you are forced to find a new route. And you're now offered a decision. Anytime that you get to work or have to go to work, you'll get up with a decision. Do I go down this road? That's weird. Do I go down this route that I've gone down before, that I know, that my GPS told me to go down? Do I go down this other route that I was forced to go down when the roads were closed? Now, it might be that that's a no-brainer. It might be that one route is way quicker than the other, and that's why it was in your GPS. But it might be that the other route's a bit like prettier. It goes through some greenery, maybe goes through a wood, or goes by some really nice views, or I live in Bristol, so goes by some really cool graffiti. And so I might choose that second route over the first one because it's more beautiful. It's not more efficient, it's not faster, it just puts me in a better mood when I go down it. And that's kind of the same as when using swear words in songs. Now, I want to reiterate that I'm not discouraging you from swearing in songs. These are my rules. I am encouraging you to make your own rules and to be aware of what your mental rules are. But these are mine. So why did I make that decision? Why did I make that a rule rather than just something I tried to do? Well, like I said, it discourages lazy songwriting. So let's give an example of that. What if I was writing a really angry song and I wanted to say that somebody was a piece of shit? I could just say they're a piece of shit. But is that helpful? Is that helpful to me as a songwriter? Is that helpful to me as a person? I mean, after all, music is a way of us working through some of the stuff that we may not otherwise work through. So to just call someone a piece of shit, is that constructive? Essentially, I'm saying they are a bad person. Now, a bad person musically sounds rubbish. To say, hey, to be, you're a really bad person and I don't like you. Rubbish. But you know what's interesting? Lyrically exploring why you don't like that person and why you think they're a bad person. And if you stop yourself from just saying, well, here's a swear word which covers a multitude of emotions that I feel about this subject, you have to explore it. It makes you put more effort into the thing that you are doing. So that's where the first one comes from. So I'm going to put it back up again. So do not swear unless quoting someone else. The reason I said quoting someone else is because sometimes you are writing a song about something somebody has said, and sometimes they swear in what they say, and there's nothing else to do except quote this person and what they've said, and in that case you can't avoid it. Okay, so let's go with number 2. So number 2 is that tracks should aim for a maximum length of 4 minutes and 30 seconds unless the track is to bookend a record. Let's read that again. Tracks should aim for a maximum length of 4 minutes and 30 seconds unless the track is to bookend a record. Why would I give that limitation to myself? Why would I say, hey, let's really, really, really limit everything about a song by making sure that it's as short as possible? Now, I didn't actually make it as short as possible. It's 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The average pop song length is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The reason I did that is because I don't want to be limited to making stuff that's just pop song length. I want that extra minute to be able to explore stuff if I want to explore it. The reason I've cut it down to 4 minutes and 30 seconds is not actually to do with the length of song at all. Let's look at the second part of that. Track should aim for a maximum length of 4 minutes and 30 seconds unless the track is to bookend a record. That is the key here. The reason why I have a rule of track should aim for a maximum length of 4 minutes and 30 seconds unless the track is to bookend a record is to try and get me to think about where this song is going to be if it was part of a record. I do not believe it is an artful or creative choice to just put a load of songs on an album. They have to have an order. Why? Well, if they didn't have to have an order, why don't we just do it alphabetically? Why don't we just list all our in an album list songs in alphabetical order? There is a method to why you construct tracks in a certain way and why you put together a record in a certain way, and we're going to explore that in the third part of today's show. But it's simply to get me to make some tough decisions. If a track is over 4 minutes and 30 seconds, am I making this track too long? Am I waffling? Have I put some stuff in there that didn't need to be put in there? Okay, well, either I did or I didn't. If I did, then I'm gonna have to fill up the cutting room floor. I'm going to have to cut some stuff out of this song, and that can be painful. If I didn't make it too long, if there's actually nothing I want to cut from the song, then I need to think about the track placement. There's got to be a reason. So just to sort of underline that particular rule, let's read it again. Track should aim for a maximum length of 4 minutes and 30 seconds unless the track is to bookend a record. And it says in brackets afterwards, encourages tough decisions to be made, which overall benefits the piece. So just a reminder, there is a maximum length of song that I try to adhere to. The reason why is because it means I have to cut stuff. It's 4 minutes and 30 seconds because it's a minute longer than the standard pop song, the standard radio play song. Because I don't want to be limited to whether or not it'll play on the radio. I want to limit it as to whether or not I'm telling a concise story. And sometimes you need an extra minute to sort of clear things up. Unless the track is to bookend a record, you need to think about the placement of the song. Okay. Let us look at number 3. Treat the tracks as your band. You have a limited number of members, therefore a limited number of instruments can be playing at the same time. Those members have certain specialties and styles, which by all means may develop and evolve, but cannot magically appear. And in brackets says fosters a consistent identity to our work. Okay, so this is going to take a bit of storytelling. Let me have some more tea. So, first off, this is very much aimed at someone like me who is a one-man band. I haven't got any other artists that I call on to do various parts. It's just me. So treat the other tracks, i.e. the other recording tracks, as your band. Now this goes in a number of ways. This doesn't actually just adhere to the creation process. It also adheres to the mixing process as well. It's also very relevant to that. Because you'll have your band members in certain parts of the stage, which affects where the sound comes from. But in this particular instance, we're talking about music creation. Now, a really, really simple example of this is I use Logic's drummer plugin. I use Logic's drummer plugin because I can't play drums, okay? And we've gone into debates before about whether or not that's cheating, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I use Logic's drummer plugin when I want drums. And I use the same drummer and drum kit every time. Why do I do that? Why do I limit myself to having this very, very standardized sound? Can't I branch out? Well, yeah, I could. But would it be my music? It would be my music in a sense of I wrote it. But would it be my music in a sense of there is a positive, consistent identity to every track that you listen to? Think about an artist like... Think about Prince. Think about Prince. If you hear a Prince song on the radio, you will know it's a Prince song before the announcement comes that it's a Prince, or even before the sometimes even before the lyrics come in. And that's because Prince has an identity. Prince has a real flavor when it comes to his music. It's even so prevalent that you can tell when an artist has worked with Prince. So, what's the song Bad Liar? Is it by Selena Gomez? I think it's Selena Gomez, but I'm not... Is it Dua Lipa even? Hold on, I'm just going to quickly Google artists that have worked with Prince, because there's one which is a really, really good example. Artists that have worked with Prince. God, there's loads of them. There's loads of artists that work with Prince. I'm not going to be able to find it. But there are certain artists which you can hear Prince's influence. And that's because Prince has an identity. There are certain styles that Prince will always employ. There's certain sounds that Prince will always employ. And when you hear another artist, and then you hear those sounds and those styles, you're like, ooh, this is a Prince song that somebody else is singing. It's almost a branding thing. Ed Sheeran is the same. I don't like him a lot, but he's very good at being on brand, to the point where when he writes songs about for other people, you can still tell it's Ed Sheeran. Really good example is let me start to dance. Shape of You. Shape of You was originally written for Rihanna. Ed Sheeran wrote The Shape of You for Rihanna. And there were certain things that fit Ed Sheeran's style that didn't fit Rihanna's style, and that's why Ed Sheeran released it as one of his songs rather than giving it over to Rihanna. One of the things is referencing other artists in his music. So the lyric goes, we put Van the Man on the jukebox and then we started to dance. Can you imagine Rihanna singing a song where she talks about the fucking Van Morrison? No, but you can absolutely imagine Ed Sheeran doing exactly the same thing. It's part of branding. It's part of creating an iconic sound. So, treat the tracks as your band. You have a limited number of members, therefore a limited number of instruments can be playing at the same time. Here's another thing. Sometimes more is more. A lot of the time, less is more. But I had a massive habit of just, when I couldn't get a song to sound big enough, if I wanted to have that killer chorus, I would just keep adding instruments until it was just this wall of sound. And that's what I'd do every single time. What did that stop me from doing? Well, it stopped me from actually learning my craft too much. I'd put loads of synths in because I didn't know how to play lead guitar, so I'd have a synth play instead. I used to sample stuff to replace sounds. So the issue was I wasn't good enough at my craft. So I just layered sound upon sound upon sound. Now, that's fine if you're a studio producer, but what if this goes live? What if you get asked to perform this piece, and for 10 seconds of a song, you have to have 100 people on stage to recreate this piece of music? That was my big fear. So I gave myself a rule. I gave myself a rule of limited number of members in the band. Now, that doesn't mean that I only use these members. I have singer, guitarist, which for me is one person. A lead guitarist who can also sing if I need them to. I have a rhythm guitarist who can also sing if I need them to. Wait, we've already talked about a rhythm guitarist. That's me. Whoops. I fucked it up. So you got me, guitarist, singer. Lead guitarist who can also sing. A bassist who, if I need them to, can also sing. And a drummer. Those are my main members. Because that's the sort of music I'm making. Those are my 4 main members. If I need someone else to play, I will absolutely employ another person. But I try and avoid it. So let's look at the last part of that rule. Those members have certain specialties and styles which by all means may develop and evolve but cannot magically appear. So, what does that mean? I think that just means that you have to try and make the process as organic as possible. Let's say I wanted to perform a guitar solo in my track. I'm not very good at guitar solos. So, but I really, 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 really want one. Okay? Let's say for some reason I have made the musical decision to have a guitar solo, but I'm not very good at writing guitar solos. I got a few options. I could play a solo myself and just play as good of a solo as I possibly can. It's still going to be a bit rubbish, but at least I've done it. I could find a solo from another song or from someone else. I could get someone else in to record a solo. The issue is that from a listener's point of view, the musical ability and the musical technique of your band has suddenly gone from here to here. Has had a massive jump. So what I do is I try and do as much as I can myself when it comes to actually playing things. If I can't play it, apart from drums, because I've employed a drummer who's a regular part of the band. If I'm playing something on guitar and I cannot play it, then I will not put it in the song. It's just the way it goes. Now, I might get better and better and better and better at lead. And I might be able to pull out that hot, fiery style solo. I might be able to one day. But I can't right now, so it's not going to be in a song. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Right. Number 4. Let me move this up a little bit. Every sound or lack of sound must be the product of a decision. This one is really simple. In brackets afterwards it says, avoids the because we can mentality and moves our work closer to being considered art. Right. This is a big one. There have been a lot of times when I have performed a piece of music or written a piece of music and I've put something into a track just because. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that. There is nothing wrong with putting stuff into a track just because you can. Okay? But you have to then be okay with the fact that there wasn't a reason for you to do the thing in the first place. So, for example, I could put one of Churchill's speeches, a sample, a recording of one of Churchill's speeches into my songs. Why? It might be that it's really relevant, that it's for a political purpose. In that case, I've got to make the decision. There's got to be a reason for why I did it. And it's to stop me from putting stuff into my music that just detracts from the track in general. So, if I was to write a song about Windows as an operating system, if I was to write a song about Windows, me putting in a speech of Churchill just because I can, does that kind of take away from what the song is about? Am I making a mockery of the listener? Am I just putting stuff in to sort of keep the listener entertained by all these little sounds that are going on, rather than allowing them to just absorb the piece? The second reason I do that is because I am a massive believer in, if you want to make music, you are trying to make art. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times when you're not working towards art. There are times when you are just making noise, and that's okay. But if you are of the opinion that your work is art, then there has to be a reason for it. There has to be a reason for your decisions. So, let's take some work by Jackson Pollock. It's paint all over a canvas. Paint all over a canvas. But it's not random. Or it might be, but if it is random, it's because of a decision. The reason why Jackson Pollock's work is considered art is because there is meaning behind everything that he does. It might be that you don't believe, you might not believe the reasons that he gives you for what the reason for why he did something was. But as far as he's concerned, there's a reason. And that's what makes it art. That's what makes it art. Right. Final part. Okay? You ready for this? Final part. I'm going to move this up here. You can't see this window. Whoops. Let me fix that for you. I'm going to move this up. Oh, God. You can see reality. Let's move this part up here. And oh, God. Okay, we've ruined it, but it's all right. These rules can be broken as long as there is a good enough reason. In brackets, question everything, including things we're certain of, and especially ourselves. That is the most important part of the rules that I follow as a musician. Why? Because I've got to continue questioning why I made the rules in the first place. Why wouldn't I break some rules occasionally? You have to break rules occasionally. Sometimes I'm going to swear in a song and I'm not quoting someone else. That's okay if there is a reason for it. Sometimes I am going to have a track which is longer than 4 minutes and 30 seconds and is not on either end of the record. That is okay, as long as there is a reason for it. Sometimes I'm not going to treat the track as my band. I'm not going to limit my members. I'm going to have a load of people suddenly appear for 10 seconds who are suddenly incredibly good at their instruments and elevate the musicianship of the band to an astronomical plane for literally one chorus. And if we were to play live, they would have to hire in 100 people to recreate the sound. But that's okay, as long as there's a reason for it. Every sound or lack of sound must be the product of a decision. Sometimes you will just do stuff because you can. Sometimes you will just do stuff because you can. But that's okay, as long as there is a reason for it. As long as there is a reason for it. So the reason I wanted to go over these rules, these laws of musical creativity, is not because I want you to follow them. These are my laws. It's because when I mention them, I'd like you to have an idea about what I'm talking about. And two, I think you should have them as well. Not these particular ones, you should have your own. by all means, use some of them. I'll put them up on the screen again. Feel free to use some of these for your own work. But by all means, just take a step back, look at what you're creating, come up with some things to help you create. These limitations, as I described earlier, these limitations will help you creatively. Not these in particular, like these help me creatively, but you know what I'm saying. Put some limitations in music, these will help you creatively. Right. Okay, so that is the first part of the show done today of our 3-part extravaganza. Now, I'm going to end this as if it was the end of the stream, because it will be the end of a YouTube video. So, please stick around if you're watching live on Twitch, because we're not over yet. But if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much for checking out the video. If you would like to talk to me about some of the stuff that I've mentioned in the video, you can see my the other one, my Instagram handle above, and that's the place to contact me for talking about this sort of thing. I'm also on YouTube, which is put a limiter on myself. Oh, I see what you're saying. Put a limiter on yourself. Put a limiter on your soul. If you're watching on YouTube, come join us live, please. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great community. Twitch.tv/oddhobbs. You can watch these shows live. You can watch us making music live. And there are some things that you will get access to that you won't have access to otherwise. For example, the second part of this show, you are only going to be able to see if you are live watching us on Twitch at the time of recording, because it's not going to exist after the stream. And if you like the music that I've created, or you want to hear examples of me using the laws that you've talked about, that I've talked about today, my music is on Spotify. I have an EP called Leave Me for Worms, Don't Leave Me for Dead, and my name is Lawrence Hobbs, because that is my name! Quoting the Crucible there. Theo is here now, so we're going to move to the second part of the show. So like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, go find another video to watch. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to have a very quick it's going to be a break, but it's going to be so short. It's just to bookend this section here. Okay, here we go. See you guys later.